Hello, everybody, and welcome to this will be, I think, the August edition of our On Time Courier podcast. I can't believe it's August already. Well, I guess I can. I go outside. It's hot as crazy. It's humid. So, yep, we're in the middle of summer and we're here. So, we have a great edition for you this month. And you talk about some really knowledgeable people in the industry. Our first guest will be Ric Massman. Ric is our senior manager of implementation. He's been with the company well over 10 years. He's going to give some good advice. And then we're going to follow that up with Brian Tevlin, who's the director of implementation for healthcare. These two guys between them have well over 20 years with the company and probably well over 60, 70 years in transportation. Great guests. We're fortunate to have them. And I think the information they're going to share, you'll all find extremely useful. So looking forward to it. And then, of course, we'll have Liz Billias to give us our monthly safety message. Always key. Always want to make sure our contractors know your safety is our first priority. And we want to make sure that we all believe that. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And don't forget, recording and behind the scenes of all this is our producer, director, editor extraordinaire, Kate Wiles. She's making sure I don't mess anything up. So Kate, thank you. Let's go ahead and get started. And like I said, great edition. Sit back and I hope you enjoy. All right. And we're getting ready to meet with our first guest. And I got to tell you, everybody, I know I say this a lot because we're really lucky. We get a lot of great guests with us. But this week, we have got someone who is, I think, going to be a big help and be able to pass on a lot of information to you all. That is Ric Massman. Ric is our senior manager of our implementation team. And Ric, thank you so much for taking some time to join us today.
I look forward to it, Kevin. You're making me blush.
Well, I've worked, I can say in my 2.5 years here, I've worked closely with Ric. I know he's a world of information, knows this business inside out. So I'm really excited for what we're going to be able to bring our contractors today. So Ric, let's start out by just learning a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about Ric Massman.
Yeah. Well, we'll start. I've been with this company now for 17 years, just over it. But I've been in the courier industry since I was, say, 20 years old. So I'll let you do the math on my age, Kevin, on that. But I mean, I started out as a driver, primarily working at a large pharmacy while I was in college back in St. Louis, Missouri. Went on to become a kind of an internal manager at that time for them in the courier department at that pharmacy. Then eventually just hired by a courier company that decided to take over the pharmacy and outsource it. That was in 1997, I think. And from then, worked in the industry for a while. I moved to Carmel, Indiana with my wife and two boys in 2004. Started with this company at that point. I was kind of a representative handling some of the stuff in the Great Lakes region at that point. Then I transitioned over to the implementation team. I think it's been about 9 years ago. I started as an implementation manager and then went on to be a senior implementation manager. And again, I just really enjoy working with both the customer and the contractor in the field every time we get new business opportunities.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. It's good to learn a little bit about you. Some things there I didn't know.
Yeah.
And, we hear, at least internal, we talk about implementation quite a bit. I know you guys are involved in all aspects of the business. But as an implementation manager, Ric, what does your day look like? What are you doing from day to day?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's any kind of typical day. We do wear a lot of hats here at US PAC. But I would say primarily my days are focused on new customer startups. That's primarily what we do. It really just starts with us really understanding the customer's needs so that we can communicate those needs to those contractors, just allowing everybody to service the opportunity properly and successfully. But in summary, most of my days are working on project plan. We develop project plans, and so we make sure that we stay on target for that opportunity. Is really the most of what we do.
All right. Well, I think you're selling yourself a little short. I know when you go out and start up a new piece of business, I know you're involved with the customer, with contractors, with routes, doing a little bit of everything. So you guys, you're certainly involved in it. So, um, how does your role? So when you're, starting up new business, getting it on board, how does that, how would you say that impacts our contractors or our service providers in the field?
Yeah, I really think we play a large role, a real big role. First, again, we're the first interactions typically with contractors, especially when we primarily focus on these new customer startups. It's more those kind of contractors that are coming on for that business, but we're really hands on. So with the contractor through that first and those first important days, whether it's going through the orientation and just really staying close to the contractor for the first week or two, making sure that the contractor is confident in servicing the opportunity. So we want them to do that at the highest level, so we stay really highly interactive with them. I mean, unlike other companies, I mean, we just have a dedicated team that specializes in that face-to-face relationship with the contractor, for new startups. So, that's versus some of these other companies out there that just don't have that kind of dedication and specific a department layout. So they have to kind of figure it out on their own. We stay really close to them. So I think we make a huge impact.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all. And I think it's fair to say, Rick, when you're out there and you're meeting the new contractors, you and your team are the face of US Pack at that moment, right? I mean, you
Absolutely.
are the company, and in the different ways you help the customer get up and running, you help the contractors to be successful. So
Yep.
certainly involved in all of it. So um, can you walk us through? So let's say you're working with a new startup. What's that implementation process look like?
Well, as I mentioned before, I mean, first, it's really understanding the customer's needs, right? So we spent a lot of time early in the process just making sure that we build a project plan that's designed to meet those needs. We take that information and start to just begin sourcing for contractors that can meet those needs. Everything from right vehicle fit to the availability to service during the times the customer has those needs. So that's it. Once we find those matches, then we certainly develop some orientation materials to provide to the contractors. This includes really like key contact information, whether it's dispatch or who they might contact. It also has some detailed materials on how to operate, obviously, our mobile applications, things like that, our website for any commission settlement, all that stuff is really important. And just a rundown, really, at that point of the customer's needs, as we mentioned. I mean, one example of this, we're on a project that again required us to profile like 300 different locations,
Wow.
build documents so that the contractor then can come in and provide the right provide those services for those locations and know exactly where to go inside those locations. So these are important things. Then we'll just set up times to go over those materials in detail, and usually a week or two before the go live of a new customer. This may even include, we run, we'll do some dry running of that for that contractor that has agreed to that service. But I think the real fun begins when the go live happens. I mean, our team here at US Pack stays close to the daily activities throughout the first week and maybe beyond, and our goal is really to have both the customer and the contractor at a steady state before we hand that account over to any local US PAC field representative. Then, after all that's done and we feel good about it, we move on to that next project adventure. So I think that gives you kind of a layout. It gets a little busier in there, but I think
I bet.
generally that gives you an idea of what we try to do.
Absolutely. I know you and your team are in the field quite a bit traveling. Uh, how many different parts of the country have you been to with US Pat doing startups?
Yeah, I try to think. So I've been from Washington State to Miami, Florida, and everywhere from up to Connecticut all the way down to Texas. I mean, I've seen some great things, Kevin. I know great thing for our work obviously is to see some wonderful places. I've been to
Yeah.
Crater Lake out in Oregon. I've just been to
Wow.
some beautiful places and some remote places too. Some very weird, like little towns that you just don't think you would see, like Ogden, Utah. And, I've seen some little spots where it's not just the major cities. So, no, it's wonderful. And I get to meet incredible people in each one of these places. So, contractors and customers all alike. So
That's
wanted
awesome. Yeah, I know. Again, you and your team, the commitment you have to helping every new startup be successful and helping every contractor to be successful takes a lot of commitment. You're all on the road quite a bit of time, so that's a big commitment to make, and it certainly shows in your all's performance and the results. So, kudos to
thank you.
that. Um, one other thing is I know you all specialize in startups, but I think it's fair to say you're kind of our how do I want to say this triage team as well, right? If we have an area where we may be having some difficulties or things aren't going just right, you and your team go in there and lend your expertise to that as well, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned earlier that our team really wears many hats. I mean, we're asked to do a lot. We have a very experienced team, so most of our implementation representatives are really from inside the company often, or if they aren't, they come definitely from a background where they wore a lot of hats then too. And so we're really, I call it, experts at most of our things that we use from a tool standpoint, and just the amount of years that we've got collectively, it's pretty amazing. And so yeah, we're able to go out to the field and really support them in other roles besides just a brand new startup. We have the ability to go out and talk with them about any kind of ways we can improve ops excellence and things like that throughout. And it just needs a little bit more assistance, or even like you said, in the contractor, we'll reorientate some of these customer contractors with these customers so that maybe there's something that's changed, maybe that
Sure.
we just have to help fill that in for them. So definitely, we definitely wear those hats.
Yeah, absolutely, and you all do. I think your team is one of the many things, Rit, that separates us from the competition. So
Yeah,
you all do a
right.
tremendous job. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Rick, what your experience both in the company and in the industry, what advice or feedback would you give to our contractors to help them to be successful in this business?
Well, I mean, I really think that, at first, I meet so many wonderful hundreds, if not thousands, of contractors that I've had the pleasure to work alongside with over the years, right? And look, I think that, for those of you who've yet to contract with US Pack or do this kind of work, I mean, I'd encourage you to look into the opportunity. There's really a lot there's here. I mean, we're definitely in an era now where the contractor work opportunities are plentiful. But I really believe that US Pack offers something very special. Again, we're talking here about the opportunity that we have to go face to face with you on new startups, or even an existing situation. But again, I would just encourage everybody to take the opportunity to look into it and go out there and work. Work your business, grow your business. And there's a lot of opportunity. The great thing about US Pack, of course, you just talked about how much I travel. I mean, I told you I'm in these areas, whether it's Ogden, Utah, or Crater Lake, Oregon. Like, all these places are amazing. But again, it just shows you that we have so much opportunity. So once you become a contractor with the opportunities with US Pack, you should definitely, keep your opportunities or eyes open for any other opportunities we have. And again, I would just encourage you to give it a shot and get involved and try to grow that business with us, because we have, again, a lot of opportunity.
That's great, great advice, Rick. Thank you for that. And following up on Rick, obviously there's the opportunity to grow into becoming a master contractor. Certainly, there's opportunity for that. If you're looking to expand into other routes or to add routes, you can always speak to your local representative or go to our website, Go US Pack, and see all the opportunities out there. So Rick, you're spot on. So thank you for that great advice. So, and thank you for spending some time with us. I would
Yeah,
encourage our contractors who are with us today, if you ever come across a member of the implementation team, if they're somewhere where you're servicing a customer or running a route, man, take some time, say hello to them, learn from them. They certainly are some of the best in the business. So, Rick, again, thank you so much for spending some of your valuable time with us today.
hey, Kevin, thank you very much. And again, I look forward to many more years of these one-on-one interactions with our contractors. So thanks again for having me on today.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Welcome to this month's Safety Spotlight, your quick reminder that no matter how fast-paced the day gets, nothing is more important than getting you home safely. As an independent contractor courier, you are constantly on the move, navigating traffic, tight schedules, and multiple delivery stops. That's why staying focused on safety is essential. not just for yourself, but for the communities you serve. Start each delivery with a quick walk around your vehicle. Check your tires, lights, mirrors, brakes. Secure any cargo so that it doesn't shift or slide, especially when opening your doors. Be alert in neighborhoods, driveways, and parking lots. Watch for pedestrians, pets, children, cyclists. Take extra caution when backing up and use a spotter when visibility is limited. Please, no texting, no scrolling, no exceptions. Use voice-activated GPS and keep your phone mounted. Even a few seconds of distraction can lead to a serious incident. Rain, heat, ice, or fog, whatever the weather in your part of the country, slow down and give yourself extra space. Drive for the conditions, not for the clock. Be aware of your surroundings when stepping out of your vehicle. Lock up when you walk away. Use hazard lights where appropriate. Wear highly visible apparel if working in dim or high traffic areas. And avoid unsafe shortcuts across roads or even in between buildings. We get it. Time matters for both you and for the customer. But safe deliveries are successful deliveries. Take an extra second to check your footing, avoid lifting awkwardly, and follow safe lifting techniques to prevent strains and sprains. Remember, you are the face of US PAC's service delivery, and your safety sets the standards. We appreciate your commitment to working safely and professionally each and every day. We'll be back next month with more, but until then, stay alert, stay aware, and always choose safety first. Until next time.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And our second guest this month, we're really fortunate. This is the month of implementation, but we're very fortunate to have Brian Tevlin. Brian is our Director of Implementation with the company, and we're very fortunate to have him with us. So, Brian, thank you for joining us today.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome, sir.
It's always good to get someone with your level of experience in front of our contractors to share all your knowledge and wisdom. So I know you've been with the company for a while. If you don't mind, Brian, just so the contractors get to know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I've been with US PAC for 12 years, which is amazing. I usually don't last that long. I've been in the transportation logistics business for over 50 years, believe that or not.
Wow,
My dad
congratulations.
taught me how to drive truck when I was 15. It was a bull hauling rig. It was a cab over. It had 2 gear shifts, main and a Browning, and that's how I got in this business.
Wow.
So I drove truck for a while, probably about 10 years. I was a Teamster for 5 years, and then I went into dispatching, safety coordinator, terminal manager, account manager. And then I went into the implementation strictly role for probably, the last 20 years, I believe.
Wow.
Director, I was also a VP. That's kind of, I'm older than dirt, and I've been there, guys and gals. I've been there. I've done it. I've been on the routes, the pharmaceutical routes and all that stuff. And I know it's not fun sometimes, but that's a little bit about myself.
Well, thank you
I live in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, right about in the middle of the country, just about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you, Brian. I knew you've been in the business for quite a while, but I didn't realize you had all those different roles. So, really, I would have to think all the different roles you've had in transportation set you up perfectly for what you do in implementation now, right? Because you're familiar with all aspects of the business.
Well, thank you. So,
all right. So you work on the healthcare side of our business, and you help to stand up new healthcare customers and accounts. How do you think that differs from implementation on the critical mile side? What would you think what would you say are the primary differences in the two?
actually, both reported to me for a while. So, I mean, I had all implementations, whether it was critical mile, whether it was healthcare, whether it was widgets, whatever. I had all the implementations. So really, it's blocking and tackling and doing the grunt work up front to have a successful implementation. So I really seen no difference, except healthcare is more difficult. Healthcare takes more effort. It's longer. We'll go in and try to understand it. We'll try to, do some fact finding and profiling, and in other words, we'll profile hospitals and everything. So when the drivers come on board, they're just not, going out there and say, "Here, do it." We actually spend time with them and all that stuff. So, I think the healthcare um, is more scrutinized because it's not a part. It's a specimen. It's could be a body part.
Sure.
You just never know. So it's more critical.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Brian, because the things we haul in healthcare and life science, you're exactly right. These are things that medicines people are waiting on, or things they're waiting on for a procedure. The importance of the items that we're shipping for our customers is huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge.
That's awesome.
So
So as you do the implementation, as you're involved with the startup, how do you collaborate with our customers on the startup of a new piece of business or new route? How's that partnership with the customers look like?
well, each customer is a little different. They might have the same company name on it, but each location is sometimes a little different. We rate each implementation from 1 to 5, 5 being the most critical. So sometimes we're not on site. On the smaller ones, we're doing the setup behind the scenes. Sometimes we're talking to the customer, sometimes we're not. Most of the time we are. And then anything that's 3 and above, we're normally on site always. When we
Okay.
go in there, really we get it given to us at time of usually award of business, and then we'll usually put together a call with all the departments, including sales and all the people, so everybody's aware of what's going on, and so that we can better understand it. Some of the larger ones, you're talking some of the ones that are 50, 100, $1 million, something like that. I mean, those are very, very large and critical. In fact, I'm getting ready to go on site on one of those in Pennsylvania for a couple of weeks. And those take a lot of work. They take a lot of profiling. We try to get on site once we have that call and we get permission from the salesperson. We usually ask that salesperson to see if we can come on site and go to the actual market that we're going to be doing, and then when we get there, because usually a salesperson is working at the corporate level, and we want to look at a local level, and so a lot of times the local level is a little different than the corporate, and so we try to get on site for at least a week or so like that, and that usually we find out things are a little different than what we thought it was, or
Sure.
maybe there's something else. And then of course, if there's any incumbents, which if anybody's listening and you are an incumbent, we welcome you very much. Then we try to see when we can get in contact with them, because they're not new to the business, they're new to US PAC. For those of you that are new, welcome aboard, and we'll try to guide you in any way. We do orientation. So in other words, we set you down, and here's the things you need to do, and regarding so how to get paid. That's kind of important. I believe that's probably number one in your book.
Probably,
Um,
yeah.
you
That's an
know,
important one.
and then yeah, and then depending on it, we normally send the new IC on mock runs, so it's not new to them day one. So that's kind of how we do it from end to end, and then at the end, we're usually on site the week before for the orientation. We're always on site at least a week or more at go live. Sometimes we're on site, a month after go live,
Wow.
just to making sure before we hand it off to local operations. And we also make sure we have a customer handoff call too, so they know we're pulling out and whatever. And then we also give the customer what we call a voice of the customer. It's 5 questions, and some of it has to do with our drivers. Are they professional? Or are they not? Was the implementation team professional? Or are they not?
Sure.
Again, it's just it's very it's very I won't say stressful, but it's very quick going, fast going during an implementation. So
Sure. No, it sounds like, and I know I've worked with you for a couple of years now. Just extensive. You all really own the startup, every aspect of it from start to finish. Do you not?
yep, start. Yep,
Yeah, you
we
said
do really.
because you said early on about collaboration, and I've been in some of those calls. I've been fortunate to be there. You've got dispatch and accounting and sales and sourcing, and you and your team do a great job. You pull everybody together, keep everybody informed, and then just lead us through to like you said, till we start hauling shipments for the customers. So
Yeah, yeah,
extensive work. I get that.
yeah. Each implementation, we try to present it seamlessly to the customer, but we try to do that with the customer. And then the voice of the customer, it's 1 to 5, 1 being not so good, 5 being really good. And we don't get all of the voice of the customers back, but normally we do.
So Brian, I mean, you and your team have seen it all. You've done it all. For new contractors that are entering this business or entering healthcare as a a delivery courier, what recommendations or what advice would you give them to help them to be successful in this business?
Um, I've seen contractors that are very smart and know kind of, okay, this is what we want to do. This is not what we want to do. Um, I would suggest you understand what you're getting into before you get into it. You're going to put miles on your car or vehicle. There's maintenance, there's tires, and you just got to, I think at the very start of it, you need to be patient, because you're trying to learn and you're trying to, say, okay, how do I work the device? How do I work, what door do I go in? Who do I talk to? And, pretty soon you'll know what door to go in. So I'd just be cautious, make sure the finances line up with you, before you jump in. Because we want you to be, you to be very, you know, very,
Successful?
yeah, successful. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want you to fail. We don't want to, we don't want you to go, well, this isn't what I want to be. So you kind of got to open your eyes and make sure it is what it is, what it is. So
That's awesome. Yeah, you were talking through, pharmaceuticals and the fact that it may be more revenue for the contractor. There's a lot more work with that, isn't there? There's more clearances.
yeah,
There's more
yeah,
orientation you have to go through, and it's something. I used to tell contractors this, and I still do this day. If you're hauling pharmaceuticals or stuff like that, you're making not only a difference in someone's life, but you should be proud of where you've gotten, right? Not every driver can do that type of work. So to be able to get TSA clearance or to go through customer orientation and do all that. Not everybody can do that. So contractors that do that certainly should take a sense of pride
yeah,
in it, certainly.
yeah.
So
They'll
great.
make more money, especially when they
Absolutely.
do the TSA and more in the life science portion of it. I've seen drivers make a lot of money in one day. But it's worth it. It's really worth it. And we want you to do it. So
Awesome. Great advice. And I was thinking about this too. Brian, I mean, you're the director of the implementation team. We met with Ric Massman, your senior manager, earlier in this episode. But you have some other team members. Do you want to take a quick minute and just acknowledge them or give them a shout out?
yeah, we've got David Stunkert. He's been with us for I think 7 years. we've got Sidoni Beckles. She's been with the company for over 10 years. Nice lady, really nice lady. And then we got Katrina. She's been with the company, Katrina Foster. So I want to make sure, Katrina Foster. And she's been with the company a little over a year. She came out of the business. She's really good. She does a lot of our life science work. And of course, if you've already met Ric Massman, my
Yep.
right arm, I call him my right arm guy. Then he's been with the company longer than me, and he's a heck of a lot smarter than me too. So,
Well, I think you're both your entire team. As you were going through your team there, the average tenure with the company is probably well over 10 years, just an average. That's a
yeah,
lot of experience. So I think in earlier episodes, Brian, we've talked about if you're a contractor and you're somewhere getting started with us, and there's an implementation manager around, soak up everything you can, because they know the business, they know advice to give you to be successful, just like you're doing here now. So we always say seek out the implementation team and soak from them what you can. So great stuff, Brian. I knew we would cover a lot of important stuff here, a lot of great advice. Any final words or any things you'd like to say to our contractors with us today?
well, a couple things if I could. First, welcome. Treat your whatever you're doing in the healthcare. Treat it like it's going to your grandmother, or it's going to your mom, or heck, it's going to yourself. Everything is important, and when we miss shipment, or we don't look and make sure, triple check, is it going to the right patient? Did I pick up the right stuff? That's your grandma. That's your mom.
Yep.
And that's important. And some of us very critical. And if we see you on site, we're on the implementation team. We welcome all questions and comments, and we'll try to help and work with you to make you successful. So
Awesome.
thank you.
Brian, I got to tell you, in the 7, 8 months we've been doing this, best advice I've heard to our independent contractor fleet. So thank you for that. All right. Well, I mean, that conversation flew by, and unfortunately, we're at the end. So, Brian, again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having
Again,
me.
absolutely, and we're welcome you back anytime in the future. Like I said, the advice that you give to our contractors and the work you do in helping our entire company to be successful is key. So, thank you for all of that. So, everybody, again, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
All right, there we are. The end of another fun and just pat edition of our On Time Courier podcast. Did we not promise on what I delivered? I told you it would be a pat edition. A lot of great advice and feedback from Brian Tevlin, from Ric Massman, and of course Liz joining us. So we hope you enjoyed it. A little bit longer edition this month, but we want to make sure we got all the information in there. Hope you all enjoy it. Hope you all have a tremendous month until we see you again. And as always, remember, please be safe out there. Everybody take care.